Hello everyone, this is Laura of Crafty Not Shifty, and today I'm going to be sharing with you an Eclipse card. The supplies that I'll be using are some cardstock from my stash and a couple of new items to me from Altenew. So I have here the fine alphabet die set and also one of their recent washi tapes. They had a huge release of washi tapes just recently and they are stunning. I can't wait to get my hands on more of them, and I'll make sure to link everything below. So I'm starting off with an A2 sized card panel, and I have a slightly smaller than that stitched rectangle die, and I'm just going to cut out this piece, and this will be the panel that I work on for the front of the card. So we've got some stitching detail around the edges after using that die, and then I'll go ahead and use my ruler to line up the word happy. There is just one of each letter in the die set, so you'll see that I'm using an X just to help me out with my spacing, to make sure that I leave just about the right amount of space for the second P in happy. You don't have to do it this way, but I do find that it really helps to get the spacing right, to try and use a letter that has the same width as the one that you want to use. One thing you will have to make sure to do is before you die cut anything, make sure you remove that X. So I've brought in some grid paper here just to help me line up a piece of my washi. I decided to use some of the more blue tones in this piece. There are some different colours that repeat throughout the pattern, so you can certainly use whichever ones you think work best for your recipient of your card. So once I've got that stuck down, I'll go ahead and add my dies back in place, remembering of course to remove that letter which is acting as my spacer, because I don't want to cut that one out. I've attached all my dies together using a piece of washi tape, and again this just helps me to get perfect placement. Once I've ran that through my die cut machine, I'll carefully poke out all of those cut pieces and keep all of the pieces, so the actual letters themselves and also the gaps inside the letter, so like the centre of the P and the centre of the A, etc. So I'll keep all of those little pieces because I am going to need those just when I come to pull the whole card together. Next up, I cut the exact same letters from some foam squares, and I also went ahead and cut that extra P in the word happy, so I've got everything that I need in place. I added some double-sided sticky tape to the back of this panel, and then just centered that up on my card front. I think it's really nice to use just a plain white note card for this, and just allow the washi tape to be the star of the show and let those letters really pop. I'm adding some liquid glue inside each of those spaces, and then I'll just go ahead and press, first of all, my foam letters. I really like to work with foam for this type of a technique because I think it gives a really easy and quick way to raise up each of those letters without having to worry about getting tiny little bits of foam tape in there. If you just die cut with foam, everything will be the exact same size and it will work perfectly. So I'm just working my way through, adding some glue to the back of each of these pieces, pressing in the centre of the letters so they sit flat on the card base, and then I'll add glue all over the top of those pieces of foam and then just carefully line up each of the letters over the top, and this is how we create the Eclipse card technique. You can do this with any letters or numbers, you can do it over washi tape like I have, or you could do it over a stamped and coloured image. You just want to make sure that you die cut, then add some dimension to your die cut pieces and stick them back into the same place. I think it's a really nice technique and it definitely adds a bit of a wow factor to your cards. Here I have a birthday die and some black cardstock. I'm going to go ahead and run that through my die cut machine and then poke out all of the pieces, making sure that I don't lose the top of that letter I, which I do tend to do whenever I use this die. So I'll poke out all the pieces in the inside. I'm just using a pokey tool for this. And then I'll go ahead and add some tiny dots of glue onto the back of this piece so we can stick it down flat to the card base. If you don't have a happy birthday die, you could certainly, or a birthday die rather, you could certainly stamp the word birthday from any stamp set that you have that has that word, or you could create a different greeting using the same technique. I'll use my tweezers to help me place this down on my card front, and then I'll remember to go back in and add the dot on the top of the letter I, and then that is this card complete. I think this is a really great design. You could make multiple cards just to have on hand for those last minute birthday emergencies when you need a birthday card. And because of all the different colours that you get along that washi tape, you have more blue tones, more pink tones. You could certainly customise this to the preference of the person that you want to give the card to. So I hope you've enjoyed this quick look at the Eclipse card technique and also at Altenew's washi tape. There are a ton of beautiful washi tapes, and as I mentioned, I will have a link to them in the description below, so you can take a look and see how you could use them to do an Eclipse card, or maybe something different. I really want to get my hands on the Galaxy washi tape. I think it's beautiful, and I've really been enjoying seeing what people have been making with that. Thank you for joining me today. If you're new to my channel, you can go ahead and click on the logo to subscribe. And if you're already a subscriber, then go ahead and tap the bell to receive notifications whenever I post a video. Speaking of videos, there's a couple on screen right now that I think you might enjoy. If you haven't already seen them, you can click on the image to link straight through to the video. That's all from me today. Bye for now.